Here's what I know based on my years of coaching. The next version of you isn't some distant, perfect future self who has it all figured out. She's close. She's already stirring. She just needs someone to believe that she's possible and a little bit of a plan. So today we're going to meet her because this is the Better You Show. I'm Doris, and these are the Better You coaches. We have Coach Joyce, the Happiness Igniter, Coach Tiffany, the Hypno Coach, Coach Sarah, the leader we love. We also have a returning guest, Men's Connection Coach Kevin McNee. He's the founder of Men for More, a movement dedicated to helping men do the deep inner work of healing, presence, and heart-centered leadership. We've got a stellar panel today, coaches. Are we ready?
Let's get into it.
Ready.
Here's where I want to begin, because I think this is where people sometimes get stuck before they even start. When we ask someone to imagine the next version of themselves, one of two things usually happens. Either they draw a complete blank, or they picture someone so far away and so different that it doesn't feel real or possible. Why is it so hard to picture who we're becoming? And what does it actually mean to evolve into the next version of yourself that isn't some fantasy, but a real, living, breathing person who's already emerging? Where does she even start to look?
When you feel stuck, that's actually where the transitions start to happen. And when you are feeling that, what is the next version of myself? It's hard to even imagine sometimes, like, who am I now? And forget about thinking about next version of ourselves, right? People mostly don't connect, so they feel disconnect there. So know yourself first. Ask who you really are. What are you aligned with? What's actually making you happy? What do you feel good about? And what is your nature? What is aligning with your characteristics? Because we often live our life on autopilot. We go with the flow. We don't try to disrupt because we are fearful, try to please people. So all those happens from how we grew up, how we're conditioned. And that shaped us today. And now when we're thinking about next version of ourselves, that we are actually trying to disrupt that pattern or what we have learned, and we wanted to outgrow and be someone different, which is still ourselves, but we don't want it to be disconnect. But we want to take that courage and be more aligned with us. And always see that transition being a possibility for you. There's so much out there. There's so much that you are capable of. So start with knowing how you're feeling when you're thinking about taking a next step, whatever it is, what you're not aligned with. Feel how your body is. Ask that question to yourself. Take that and then make a decision to respond rather than react.
I think identity is huge, right? It's a huge piece where we want to make shifts in our lives. And I think it was Tony Robbins. He said something to the effect of, who we think we are is the greatest indicator of what we can become. So that's why working with identity can be so important. A huge thing for me was realizing that identity isn't fixed. And a lot of us don't really realize that. There's a lot of flexibility in there. When we identify, like, maybe, I'm not a confident person. Well, is that true? And can I develop those skills to become confident? And absolutely, the answer is yes. To a huge degree, it's not becoming somebody completely different, but it's opening up to more of who you are and allowing that to come forward. And that's where hypnotherapy can come in. It works really well with identity shifting, because when you're in a more relaxed state, you're open to those resources and you can really allow yourself to imagine, what's the identity I want to create now? You can be really playful and creative with this, right? And you can always shift it. And also, this upgraded version of you can show up in really small ways as well. It can show up in those small moments where you're noticing, oh, I actually did that. I said that thing that I wanted to say. And, I'm actually building those confidence skills. And then you start to notice it's safer to be your authentic self. And you can really you can really build on that. And again, hypnotherapy, this is just a wonderful tool to help you connect with this version of you. And it can be ongoing. You can create this throughout your life.
So I am not a person who visualizes very well. When I first started doing this, that was something that was my first hurdle. Now that I've been doing it for a while, I get how to get to the end point. But in the very beginning, I couldn't see that. And so I would like to encourage anybody else who's going through this right now, and if they can't see that end person that they want to be, what is one small thing that you want to change in your life right now? And just start with that one piece and then digging into that. And like you said, I mean, there are tons of tools out there working with a coach or a therapist or a hypnotherapist. There's all these tools that are at your disposal to help you along that way. But if you're just starting out and you're not sure where to begin, just choosing one small piece is definitely a great place to start.
One of the things that's come up for me that I've learned in my own work, but working with the people that I have, and I like to read. I've read a lot of books, and I think that can be a really powerful place for many people to start. But it can also become its own addiction. Information and knowledge overload. And here I am doing the work, but it's not working because I'm reading all the books and the things. But but I did read a book called High Performance Habits by a guy named Brendan Burchard, and one of the things that he said, one of the simplest pieces was, instead of actually thinking about all of the things that you want to do or who you want to become or putting yourself so far out there, how do you want to feel? Tuning into like how you want to feel, and any areas in your life that you don't feel that way is a really powerful and a really great place to start by tuning into that awareness. The awareness of like, oh, I'm not feeling like that in this relationship or in this job or with my health or wherever that looks like. So where do I start with that? And just having that as the awareness, as opposed to, like you said, Doris, too, like the visualization and seeing who I want to become. There's a lot of pressure in that, right? And, I'll speak from a man's perspective or from my own perspective, is like when I'm being like, stuck in perfectionism, holding myself back, trying to find that perfect vision first, has kept me stuck because it's like, well, I don't know where to start because I'm way too far ahead of myself. But you spoke to it very well, and taking those small little steps and what's right in front of me, like what do I have to do, and who's in my life, what am I doing, what am I saying, what am I taking in, what am I listening to, what am I watching? All of those things are really, really great places to start, and just noticing how you feel in all of those situations.
Talking with my clients is like, what is going to make you feel happy? What are you going to feel inside when you feel happy? And that's something that I can start with. They can understand what they want to feel inside to be happy, right? That's the key right there. And I love that, Kevin, how you said that. Feeling is so important to what you want. And it's something that we can all use without any issues. Take that step back and understand what you want to feel.
I find that sometimes people are cut off from their feelings as well, though, right? And if you say, hey, you want to get into that place of happiness or that one time when you felt, and sometimes they don't have that, right? They can't tap into that. So I think it's just whatever way is going to work for a client. Like there's tapping into feelings, there's tapping into just the story. You can use a visualization, like all of these things. But I was wondering, so Kevin, if someone can't tap into their emotions, what would you say?
Thanks, Tiffany. I'm glad that you asked that too. Is, most people don't understand. Like I heard you guys talk about a little bit about nervous system. What's going on in your body, right? Where are you at right now? I'm stressed out. I'm overwhelmed. I'm angry. It's like, okay, those are all really, really powerful pieces to look. So you might not know how you want to feel or tune into the sensation is like, oh, I want to feel peace in my body, or I want to be like open and clear, and I want to have my heart open and feel like butterflies in my stomach. Like you say, a lot of people don't don't have access to that, but they know where they're at right now, right? So let's just say if I don't know what I want or to tune into the feelings, what is it that I don't want? Because right now, I don't want to be stressed out. Don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want to feel like I'm afraid all the time.
Right.
So that's where I would say, because you're right. A lot of people don't have that emotional attunement. And I mean, I was one of those guys is like, hey, I'm just good or I'm not. Right. So, yeah. And even, Joyce, you mentioned tuning into happiness, and what does happiness feel like? Or what does happiness look like? Maybe might be even better way to frame that. So it's like, what does it look like? Oh, okay. Well, I'm playing baseball with my son, or I'm going for a bike ride, or I'm going for a swim in the pool. Okay. Well, when you're doing that, what shows up for you? Kind of like guiding them down that path too. So, thanks for asking that. It's a really good point to address that. A lot of people aren't in tune with the actual feeling until we can support them in, taking them there.
That's an interesting perspective too, because especially in our industry, we don't talk about using the negative side of things as a positive. We often say, oh, push that down because we need to, only look at the good things, only look, what are you grateful for? Well, you know what? Sometimes we need to examine what we don't want in order to figure out what we do want. So that's a very good way to look at it.
That's another theory from a book that I got from, called A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he talks about, what we want, our dreams are actually some of the hardest things to figure out. Like, what is my soul's purpose? Well, man, that's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? But I know that I don't want to feel this way. I know that I want to feel, I don't want to be sad or angry or upset or, all of that stress, overwhelmed. So I'll just take what's on the other side of that, and I'll just take that.
Yeah. And something that just came up for me as well is like, feelings can probably be scary for a lot of people because they can trigger, an unwanted memory, right? Like might have something connected to that feeling that they want to repress too, right? So it's okay. It's very complicated. But yeah.
Yeah, I can very much see how working with someone or in community with even people that you trust can really help you guide through this, because if you don't have access to that in your own head, it's hard to get past what you don't know, right? So working with someone who has the training or has the experience to be able to help you move forward, just even a couple of steps can unlock something that you start making huge strides towards.
I was just going to add that, I mean, very well said, Kevin and Tiffany, great question. The discomfort that we feel that you were talking about, that discomfort, it is actually a sign that you're awakening, right? You're actually becoming alive. That's the thing. Like awareness. Yes, we are talking about awareness, but how do we become aware? So I think it's a great point, like Kevin said, to meet where we are at. I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to feel that way. And then how do you want to feel? Right. So that's great. So I wanted to sum up that discomfort is good. So don't feel that I'm not feeling comfortable, so I don't want to take that step towards the way. No, that is your awakening. That is the igniting. That is what you're gonna lead to the next step. So yeah, very well said.
Thanks, Sarah. That's a really good point too, is discomfort is the first step. If we were just comfortable all the time, we probably wouldn't move. Right? It's the discomfort and feeling like that agitation or sensation or whatever it is that comes up that is kind of like the universal kick in the butt to get moving.
I mean, how good was that? Here's what I hope you take from today, that the thing that you came here looking for, it's not out of reach. It's just waiting for the right support. If you want that support, we're one conversation away. BetterYou.coach. Book your free, no obligation call. Come as you are, and let's figure it all out together. And before we go, Kevin, where's the best place for people to find you?
www.menformore.com. And I'm pretty active on Instagram. My Instagram account is at creating the ripple. What that means is when we start doing our own work, no matter if you're a male, female, whomever, when you start doing your own work on yourself, you create a ripple effect that not only affects you and your own growth and healing, but it affects everyone else in a powerful and positive way. So each one of us is the ripple effect in our own life. And we don't know how many people that we're going to impact just by simply doing our own work. So that's the power in that. So at Creating the Ripple and www.menformore.com.
Awesome. Well, all the links are in the episode description. So if you're looking for the exact link, it's in there. Thank you for spending time with us. It means more than you know. Always remember, you matter. So please take care. See you next time. Oh, hey, thanks for watching. Since you watched this video, we thought you might really like this video. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe right there for more great videos. Plus, tap that notification bell so that you don't miss any videos at all. Comment your thoughts below and see you next time.